three-year run of East European successes in winning last year's edition of the women's fours, and start as favourites to retain the title, albeit with a different crew. Well, here are the 2001 runners-up: New Zealand, Nicola Coles at stroke and Jackie Abraham at 3. They try again with 2 newcomers. United States, Wendy Wilbur, silver and bronze world medalist. She's in the stroke seat for the US. Canada, well, they last won this back in 1991. And they'll all be racing in the 8 tomorrow, as will the Australians to their left. Vicky Roberts, the lone survivor from last year's successful 4, and now supported by 3 members of last season's victorious 8. China, well, an outside chance. Their challenge will surely strengthen over the coming years with success at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, their long-term target. Finally, Germany, a crew of junior world medalists from the eastern part of their country. Sandra Goldbach, bronze medalist last season with the 8 in the bow.
This event is very much a sort of preparation ground, a training ground for up-and-coming people, youngsters from the under-23 championships and junior world championships. Except, of course, for Australia, who have been so dominant in this event these last 2 years. They won the gold medal in the 8 and the 4, and it's 4 new people in this boat, or 3 new people and 1 from last year's 4, who they decided to challenge the winning 4 for this double, this momentous double here, and they beat the winning 4 from last year, so they have taken over as Australia's representative.
Yes, and there's not much to choose on the clock. Both Canada and Australia qualified directly into the final. Australia in a slightly faster time, so I suppose on the clock they'd have the edge over the Canadians. Here are the Americans, coached by Tom Tahar, and 3 of them rookies in the 3, 2 and bow seats, but Wendy Wilbur providing the experience. Canada, Pauline Van Russell in the stroke seat, Darcy Marquardt, then Rachel de Jong and Rosalind McLeod.
But it's Australia who've gone out in front, and they do row so well. That was so remarkable last year as well, was how well the 4 rowed. One of the best crews at the regatta, I felt. And here again, this 4, look how long they are, accurate they are at the front end of the stroke. They do row extremely well.
Still pretty tight up front there. Australia with the advantage, but Canada, United States, Germany and China all pretty close together. And Lyle McCarthy must be pretty pleased with what he's seeing here, Dan, with this Australian 4.
Yes, it's a very sweet movement there. They're not working too hard there. They're just sitting there nicely. They've got into their rhythm. They're just sitting there, working away at around 36 strokes a minute, but looking lower. That's the key to a boat going well. When you look low, but you're going very fast. China, new crew, and pretty aggressive. They row well, the Chinese. They move their boat well. You don't see any bounce there at all. In fact, the boat looks a little bit big for them. But they are very much in the hunt there. But at the moment, Australia looking completely confident.
Yeah, not much on the clock between the Chinese and the Americans. I know it's very dangerous to say things like that, Dan, when you compare semi-final times, but the Chinese not completely out of a chance of getting a medal, as Australia really stretched the advantage now to Canada. And Canada enjoying something of a renaissance in their rowing squad at the moment.
Yes, the Canadians, as you said earlier, they were very, very strong in the early 90s, and very strong also in the pair during the 90s. But this 4 is moving very well, very new 4, and they are tracking the Australian 4 at the same kind of rate. They're working there at 35 strokes a minute.
So Australia now with almost clear water over the Canadians, who are making second place their own. And so it looks, Dan, as if it's going to be the fight for the bronze, which is going to be the most intriguing. And Germany, who we've rather ignored, doing rather better than I expected on the near side here. This is a good effort. This is a crew put together by Ralph Holtemeyer and Hans-Jürgen Forster. And they're all junior world medalists.
Well, they're moving well. They're sitting there in 3rd place at the moment, but being challenged very strongly by China.
So the gaps are now really opening up now. Australia, to me, Dan, look as if they're invincible, because the Canadians not making any progress on them at all. And the Chinese still very close to the Germans, and the New Zealanders not out of it either at the moment.
Canada there at 35 strokes a minute as they come under the bridge, 700 metres or so to go. But no one's going to catch Australia. They look as if they could do whatever was necessary. Very, very focused, sitting nice and low. Boat hardly rocking around at all. Very comfortable racing there for them.
Well, out of picture just to the left now, Dan, perhaps the most fascinating part of the race, which is the progress of both China and New Zealand, who they seem to be accelerating, and the United States and Germany seem to be dropping back. So we will have a fight, surely, for the bronze medal. But the Australians, well, they've been magnificent.
Well, they're just sitting there at 34 strokes a minute. They've just made a change now, just begin to push on for the last 500 metres, but they hardly have to really raise their rate at all. They are moving away with every stroke, with Canada 2 strokes a minute higher at 36, chasing them down, but really no one's going to touch them. Here, though, with China moving up there, China really now in a position to medal at this regatta.
Yes, that's a very good quarter by the Chinese, 1:37.87. But despite the fact that the Chinese have been moving fast, the Australians 1:37.35. So still the quickest boat on the water. And the New Zealanders, the third fastest. The New Zealanders, who are right on the far side in lane number 1, trying to get back on terms with the Chinese, but they've got an awful lot of work to do. And I don't think they're going to make up that sort of ground with about 350 metres to go.
So China at 38 strokes a minute, the Australians still at 35 strokes a minute. Really, the difference is palpable. They're probably also in mind that they're going to be racing in the 8 tomorrow, so they don't want to overextend themselves, but they are winning this so comfortably. China putting a lot of pressure now on Canada. Canada, who've raced very well, holding off China. China moving at 38 strokes a minute, trying to push back past Canada.
Yes, this is a brilliant piece of sprinting here by Feng Zhuling and Huan Long Kong and Kurping Yang and Zhao Zhufeng, who are the quartet for China. And they're not going to get the silver medal, Dan, but they've done tremendously well to take the bronze. They've been tougher and stronger, particularly through the middle part of the race, and they're coming home really quickly now. Still, though, the Australians in command here, but they, as you said, just cruising through. The Canadians keeping up to their work there, and the Chinese, well, just settling for third, a few strokes from the line. New Zealanders just getting the better on the far side there of the United States, who faded badly, with Germany, who were there or thereabouts in the middle of the race, finishing 6th.
Well, that was good. That was good for Canada. I think Australia were quite comfortable there. Didn't really have to do too much to cross the line first. Canada moved away then from China. China pushed really very effectively just around the 1,500 metre mark and then fell back. But they'll be pleased with that bronze medal.
Yes, that's a real good confidence boost for the Australians, who now have 24 hours to recover before the 8th final tomorrow, for which Lyle McCarthy will no doubt be demanding a second gold medal performance. But just for now, Vicky Roberts, Rebecca Satin, Jodie Winter and Christina Larson can enjoy the moment.
Victoria Louise Roberts.